Okay, so start thinking about what questions you might want to ask. If you have any burning questions for Lisa or I today regarding, and the topic today, again, is lactation nutrition. Okay, so we want to talk about that. That could be weight loss and breastfeeding. It could be about what to eat. It could be about what kinds of foods actually are going to impact your milk or your baby's it could make your baby fussy. Okay, so we want those kind of questions today. If you have any of those, you can jump in, and you could also type it here. Hopefully it scrolls by so fast it's hard for me to catch them sometimes. But if you really want your question answered, you guys know the best way to get your question really answered is get on camera with me.
Oh, do it. Yeah.
On camera. Right? So anyway, all right. So, and let's just give them the prizes real quick, and then we can get into it. All right. So prizes today. First of all, we have the new and improved. I'm going to call it new and improved because this is a product you guys have seen me talk about a lot over the last few years. But today I'm letting you know that this has become a My Baby Experts product. So this means that it is part of my company. It has become one of my products. It is the first of the My Baby Experts line. It is now called the Hands-Free Nursing Wedge. Okay, this is the nursing wedge. And for those of you guys who've never seen it before, what is this little thing? This little thing is a little foam wedge, okay, that helps to support the breast. You can't say the breast when you're nursing. And for so many of you mamas, I know, having that extra support under the breast, whether it's using your hand or trying to roll things up, is what will help to keep the breast in position, that will help you with your latch and make breastfeeding less painful. I know it was for me. And it doesn't necessarily matter whether you have large breasts or small breasts. Some people just need more support under the breast. And this little breast pillow is fantastic. There's breastfeeding pillows out there where you lay the baby on. This is for your breast. And yes, of course, it does come in different sizes. Okay, so depending on your size, you do have different sizes. If you would like to win one of the nursing wedges, we have two that we're giving away. One, here on the live stream, you just have to comment and tell me what you love about it. Tell me why you'd like to have it. Comment here. And another one that we announced earlier on my Facebook page to all of our top fans. Okay, so if you're a top fan, you have the ability to get one of these as well. We'll be announcing the winner over there. And if you're not a top fan, keep engaging so that you are a top fan. We're going to have special prizes. And of course, I always have to reward the people who are always on the page and interacting. That's the way you become a top fan. So attend the live events and interact. All right. So we're going to give away two of those. And then Lisa's going to give away. Go ahead and describe.
So the 5-day reset, which starts next week, if you win, you have a chance of winning two tickets, if you want to say, to participate for free in the 5-day reset. So I'm really excited about that.
That's awesome.
It's fun. It's, we have a private Facebook group. We get 5 days of recipes. I give you alternative recipes. There's handbooks. There's bonus, information about why it's important to eat what we're deciding to eat. I do a few lives during the week, and I'm in the group all week long. We post pictures of recipes that we've made, and we get through the challenging parts together. People will post like, it's 3 o'clock and I want a snack, and what should I have? And other moms will jump on and give you ideas and get you through it. So the community is great, and we're having great results from it. So,
and the best part, you're going to have access to Lisa.
Yeah,
that is the best part. That you will have access to Lisa.
Yeah, it's fun.
These few days of really learning. Yeah. So. Great.
So I just wanted to say, Shari, I'm a top fan. I was very excited when I got that message. I was like, I'm a top fan.
Thank you.
I love that group. I love that group. And if anybody's listening and you're not in Shari's.
No, I'm talking about that. That's our private Facebook group.
Yeah.
I'm talking about top fans on my page. There's actually.
Oh, okay.
Facebook has this thing where they have
weird.
Top fans, and so there are certain posts that only top fans see.
Oh, okay.
So if you want to be a top fan, you actually have to interact more. It's not something. It's not even something I can give you. Okay?
Right.
It's not up to me. All right. So, do I have any top fans here in the audience? Let me know if you're here, and we can say hi. And then what Lisa was referring to was our Facebook group, and that you can just come into and apply for, and we'll let you in. So, and Lisa's there too.
Yep.
All right. Awesome. Okay. So let's talk about lactation nutrition, Lisa.
Okay. So I'm going to outline quickly. I don't want to go into, I don't want to bore anybody because I could talk about.
You're not going to bore anybody. Go ahead. Give it to us.
But I'm going to give you the information that you can really do and apply today to make a change for yourself. So the number one fact that I think that people confuse is that we should always eat to be healthy, not to lose weight. So if you get the health first, the weight, you'll become the weight you should be and the weight you need to be, especially during breastfeeding. So if we start thinking about counting calories and restricting what we're eating and trying not to eat certain foods, sometimes that makes us eat more, and it's too restrictive and our metabolism slows down. So it takes a lot of calories to make milk for a baby. The estimates are between 500 and 800 calories a day extra that you need to make enough milk for your baby.
Yeah.
So if you ate what you usually eat and you had a decent diet before you got pregnant, you probably will lose weight. However, because it takes so many calories to make milk, your appetite is incredible, right? Do you remember that, Shari? I could eat like 2 men when I was nursing. Right?
Constant,
So the important thing to do is to choose the good foods, the foods that are nutrient dense and have good information for your body, and not low calorie foods. So for instance, we want to eat lots of vegetables. I say 8 to 10 servings of vegetables a day, which sounds overwhelming, but once you start realizing that so many good foods are vegetables, it becomes easy. So things like, nuts and seeds, and, if there's no allergy, those are vegetables. Even legumes and beans are vegetables if you have no intolerance to that. Yeah. So green leafy vegetables like spinach and kale and the Brassicaceae family, like the broccoli, the cauliflower, kale, all those nice nutrient dense carrots, potatoes, sweet potatoes, all those are vegetables. And we don't always think of everything. Sometimes I know I grew up thinking vegetables was corn that came out of a can. We didn't eat very well growing up. But there's so many delicious vegetables, and especially if you're listening and you're in the United States right now and it's summer, it's beautiful because there's so many opportunities to get fresh, healthy vegetables, farmers market.
I think what you're bringing up is such an important point. I think there's a lot of moms who are like, of course you need to eat vegetables, but then you hear so much about you. I get this question all the time, like, my baby's gassy, and so I had to stop eating broccoli. I had to stop eating all those vegetables that make me gassy. That's such a huge myth, and I'd love to address that again, just because it's always up.
Absolutely. And I think that's, the biggest myth is that gassy foods make our baby gassy. Now, every once in a while, you may have a baby that reacts to a certain vegetable. Yeah. But for the most part, I think if we have a healthy gut because of the other foods that we eat, we can handle those gassy foods, and our baby in turn will as well. Yeah. So the other thing that happens is when a baby reacts, most of the time they're reacting to the protein in the food. Yeah. So if the highest allergen that we see right now is dairy. So it's the milk protein that mom is reacting to. And the antibodies that her body makes against the milk protein are passed in the breast milk, and that's what baby reacts to. Yeah. Baby's not actually allergic to milk. He's reacting to what mom's reacting to.
Yeah. Well, it doesn't work like that. It's not like the food you eat. It's not like broccoli goes in and then comes out through your breast milk.
Right.
Down in your body.
Right.
What's causing you to be gassy is not the same components that the broccoli would be broken down into. It's the vitamins that are going to be getting into your breast milk or into your body.
Right. And the great thing about eating a lot of vegetables is it gives you fiber, right? And fiber, is really important to help eliminate toxins that we're exposed to. And it also gives you bulk so that once your liver does the detoxification, the fiber grabs it in your stool and passes it out, and you eliminate it. So the other thing about the broccolis and cauliflowers and kales is they have qualities that help our liver, actually help our liver to filter things, especially hormones. So if there's any milk supply issues, that could be an imbalance of hormones. And if you eat those the Brassicaceae family, the broccoli, the kale, the cauliflower, Brussels sprouts, cabbage, all of those are good to help the liver do its job. It's pretty interesting how that works. Yeah. And then the fiber helps eliminate it. So
we never really hear of that, talking about so often, milk supply issues can be caused by many things. It could be how you're latching. It could be how frequently you're feeding, how often you're pumping, things like that.
Right.
But it could be a hormonal imbalance. Yes. And what you're describing is that these vegetables can really help to improve that balance.
Right.
Which you may be looking in all these other directions, and it could be your diet.
Right. So, in general, I like, when somebody asks me what to eat to make more milk, I'm not a fan of lactation cookies or anything like that. Don't anybody throw anything at me.
That's a lot of sugar.
Yeah. But I just say, if you strengthen yourself and get yourself to be as healthy as you can be, you'll make the best milk for your baby. That's right. If you take out your food intolerances, the things that bother you personally, if you're eating, a lot of times it's anemia. A lot of moms are anemic or iron deficient, and they don't even realize it after the baby's born.
Yeah.
So if you're working with a healthcare provider, if you can ask them to test your iron levels, and supplement with iron if you need, or iron-rich foods. Again, back to diet, and then also making sure vitamins like vitamin D and the B vitamins, B12 is very important. All these things that balance your body, because your body is working hard to support another tiny human. If you're not strong, you're going to have a hard time doing that.
Yeah.
So all things that support you and your health and your strength will support baby.
I think one of the things to really keep in mind, because I just saw something the other day that was it reminded me of this misinformation that actually, to me, when I think about it, it's one of those ways that moms are discouraged from breastfeeding or scared out of breastfeeding, is having them think that their diet needs to be perfect to make perfect milk. And it's one of the biggest problems that I see.
Yeah.
Repeated over and over again. So this is not what we're saying here today.
No, not at all.
Is to be healthy, to be the healthiest for yourself, so that you can be the healthiest mom. You need to take care of yourself, and nutrition is one of the best ways to do that.
Right.
Your body is going to pull all of your stores to make that milk.
Exactly.
And so it's really important that you don't feel like, okay, well, I don't always eat well, so therefore maybe I shouldn't breastfeed. That's not at all what we're saying.
No, not at all. And I just to reinforce that, if you ate the worst diet in the world, it's still better than giving your baby cow's milk, or a formula. I'm not anti-formula. If we need formula, it's there.
Right.
But if you ate the worst diet in the world, if you had no nutrition, if you, ate cookies all day long and ice cream all night long, and, it's still better to give your baby your milk, because that milk will still be better than a cow's milk formula.
Well, and it will also be what your baby needs. It won't be missing things, with the exception of vitamin D.
Right. So,
Vitamin D is one of those things that's the only thing that nature intended for you to be in the sun. Right. Nature intended for you to spend some time outdoors, which we don't always do. And with all the sunscreens that we lather on ourselves, sometimes we're just not getting enough vitamin D from the sun. And it's really impossible to get that much from your diet. So supplementing with vitamin D is important, because that's what's going to put that vitamin D into your milk for the baby. And the baby really does need that.
Yeah. And if anybody's interested in learning more about vitamin D, the American Academy of Pediatrics actually has a study that showed that moms should take 6,400 international units a day in order for baby to get enough. And then they don't have to give vitamin D to the baby. And there's a blog on my website. I'm sure the link to my website will be here. There's a blog on my website that I wrote all about vitamin D, because it's another misconception. People think they have to give their baby vitamin D, and you don't. You don't.
You don't. And you're
unless you're very deficient,
right,
or you're not supplementing, or you're having a hard time otherwise, then it can't hurt. But it's so much easier to take something yourself when you're breastfeeding than to give it to your baby.
Yeah,
so I like that.
Absolutely. And then you know that you're getting enough too, because it's
exactly, and then you feel better too. So.
Yeah, vitamin D is such an important thing. We could probably do a whole show just on vitamin D.
Yeah.
Let's do that.
Okay.
Write that down and remember to come back to that one. Can I go back here and just like pull one of their questions, because
sure.
I wanted to let me see, where is it? There was somebody posted here. Here it is. I'm going to pull it up on the screen. Can you guys see it? It was Ruby. Can you see it, Lisa? She said, "Can you make your breast milk more fatty?"
So, unfortunately, there's not enough research on breast milk, really. Mm-hmm. But I believe that the latest information is you can't really make it more fatty, but you can change the amount, you can change the quality of the fat. Mm-hmm. So, again, you want to eat healthy fats. And, I got a little off my 4 points that I was going to make, but one of them was
I took you off.
That's fine. We'll cover it all. We'll just go in a circle instead of down the line. Fats such as avocado, olive oil, and good sources of animal protein, grass-fed if possible, definitely organic if possible. If you especially with fats, will give you a better quality fat in your breast milk. Mm-hmm. Now, that being said, everybody's milk, like if you're pumping and looking at your milk, sometimes it looks a little fattier than others, and that might be what your baby needs at that moment. So that's what's kind of magical about breast milk. We make what it need. Yeah. So everything that I'm suggesting as I talk today and as we, go over in the reset is all, the best way to make any improvements or idealize your milk is to just eat the best you can and, have healthy habits and avoid toxins, which is my next point. So if I can get to the avoiding toxins.
Yeah, let's do it.
Okay. So what happens, because there's so much, our milk is fatty, which is what our baby needs. Toxins tend to stick to fats, right? So our breast milk will absorb the toxins that we're exposed to. Now, again, this isn't to make anybody scared, because when I first heard this, I was a little upset, but the environmental allergies, any plastics we're exposed to, any pesticides or herbicides in our food can get passed through our breast milk. Mm-hmm. Now, it also is passed through cow's milk, so cow's milk formula isn't any better, but we can improve what our babies are getting by avoiding toxins when possible, and by letting our bodies be healthy enough to help to eliminate by the things we said before. Yeah. So how do we avoid the toxins? We eat organic when possible. Yep. Which can get expensive, and we're lucky to have Environmental Working Group does the Clean 15 Dirty Dozen. So that's ewg.org, and they give you a free listing that you can print out and bring shopping with you. Mm-hmm. And that tells you the vegetables and the fruits that are more important to have organic because of how much pesticides are used on those particular fruits or vegetables. Mm-hmm. Yep. So, for example, it's not as important to have an organic avocado as it is to have organic blueberries. Berries have a lot of pesticides. Yep. So you can get if you're going to get anything organic, berries for sure. Yep. So we want to have the least amount of toxic exposure, and that includes not just what we eat, but what we put on ourselves. And you had a great Facebook Live yesterday, right, with all of the products. That was fantastic. I love that company, and that was a great.
They're awesome, right?
Of what to use, because we're absorbing things through our skin.
That was Earth Mama, and they really are the best.
That was great. So things like that, and then what are you cooking in? What are you handling? Avoiding plastics, and as much as possible, meaning using glass containers. Try not to drink out of plastic water bottles if you can avoid it, or if you are using plastics, don't let them heat up. because the plastics can be absorbed into the water. Never microwave in plastic.
Yep.
What else? Glass when possible, or stainless steel. And, you know, looking around your world and looking at where the exposures are. And again, you don't have to be perfect, but just make the improvements where you learn. It's a process, right? You know,
it totally is.
Totally a process.
Totally. And I think that, you know, again, it's not that we have to be perfect. And it is what Alicia and I talked about the other day, Monday. But there are ways to make those better choices. And every little bit does matter. Every little bit does matter. We can't avoid all of it. But, you know, the knowledge is power.
Right.
You know, like the fact that, like what you just said, don't microwave in plastic.
Right.
You know, I replaced all of my plastic. I don't have any plastic Tupperware in my house. You know, I have all glass. And when I need to heat something up, I take the lid off and I have glass. And I, you know, microwaving is not the greatest thing, but I can at least limit it by not doing it in plastic. And doing that. So we don't store our food in plastic either. So.
And the other thing I did was, you know, the microwave thing, because there's a lot of controversy about microwaves. I bargained it with, I'm not cooking in the microwave, but if I needed to heat something really quick, I'll heat it, but I won't do full cooking in the microwave, you know?
Oh,
you know, so it's all a process, right?
I pulled something up for them to see. Hold on, I'm going to share my skills here. Hold on, where is it? Okay.
Oh, great.
Okay, here's the Dirty Dozen. This is what Lisa was referring to, the Dirty Dozen. And, you know, if you're going to choose certain fruits and vegetables that you want to only buy organic, make sure it's the ones that are on this list. You know, there's certain ones that have thinner skin. They're more highly pesticides. There's just, these are the ones you really, especially strawberries.
Yes.
Okay. You know, and luckily, I don't know if you have Costco near you, but Costco has some great organic choices now. And, you know, like really not that much more expensive for the organic.
Right. And I think it's wonderful that places like Costco and even my local Stop and Shop has more organic stuff. I never used to go in there, and I went in recently just to pick up something quick, and they have a whole organic section. So it's getting easier. And the more of us that buy organic, you know, that'll cause the prices to come down. You know, the more demand there is, the more product there'll be, and the prices will come down. So I think it's exciting. It's an exciting time, because a few years ago it was really hard to find organic things.
Absolutely. No, it's great. All right, and we can actually post this later. We'll make sure that we get this. We'll put it into the group. Stephanie, just post this Dirty Dozen list into the group for everybody. And if you're not in my group, make sure you get in my group. We're going to be doing a lot of great things coming up. So, okay. So, what's next on the list here, Lisa?
Well, you know what? I just want to go back to another facet that we sort of touched on, but they came back to, was the calcium. So people are always worried about calcium. And, you know, during pregnancy, our bodies lose calcium, and sometimes during breastfeeding too. But during breastfeeding, our bodies actually can absorb calcium more than at any other time. So if you think about pregnancy and breastfeeding are natural things. It's what our bodies are, what we're born to do, right? Yeah. So our bodies are designed to have this natural ebb and flow of the calcium levels. We lose it, and then from our food, we extract it, and it comes back to us. So if you're eating lots of green leafy vegetables, you will be eating enough calcium, and your body will absorb it if you're not clogging it up with other junk, right? So if that's, you know, if you're not eating a lot of processed, we don't want to eat a lot of processed foods, because that clogs up the system and prevents the absorption of the healthier foods and makes the whole system work easier for you. So, you know, I've had a couple of people very recently in my own group asking me about calcium, because there was something that came out saying, you know, about how dangerous it is to breastfeed because you lose calcium. And I was like,
no, actually, you know, you lose calcium, what winds up happening is that after you're done breastfeeding, your bones actually strengthen. Right. And it reduces your risk of osteoporosis later. Right. So it has this compensatory effect where
it's how it's supposed to be.
It's meant to be like that. And so yes, your bones do lose calcium with the rebound of building back up and becoming even stronger than they were.
Right.
So yeah, again, it's those bits of information, right? Those small bits that have moms worry that somehow, how is it possible that whatever breastfeeding is doing for our bodies or for our babies' bodies could have some negative effect on the baby? How is it possible that as mammals that we evolved this way, that it somehow would be harmful? And the idea that, the baby's allergic to my milk, or my milk's not sufficient enough, or that I have to eat a perfect diet. I mean, women and babies and the human race has survived for hundreds of thousands of years, right? Through some of the much worse situations than, eating some McDonald's. No, maybe not, but yes. Then just we survived through some, and still are today in parts of the world. And those babies that are breastfed are still at a much higher advantage for survival. Right. You just need to keep that in mind. And I think it's so important to remember that your body is trying and taking care of your baby. It's what are you going to do to take care of your body? Right.
Exactly. And that gets back to, a whole other issue is, how do we find out when baby's having a reaction? How do we find out what it is that baby is reacting to?
Yeah.
And so that's why I like to do these, guided elimination diets instead of somebody sending you home and saying, take out everything. I mean, I had a woman who was eating nothing but like boiled chicken and white rice.
Yeah.
Because she couldn't figure it out. So we take out the biggest culprits and see how we feel and see how the baby reacts. So taking out dairy and gluten and processed sugar. And, alcohol is in the general, but, we're not really drinking too much alcohol when we're breastfeeding, and caffeine, and taking that out for 5 days. And if I said to you, take all that stuff out, it's kind of overwhelming. But if you say, we're only going to do this for 5 days just to see how you feel.
Yeah.
And you're going to get a lot of support with it.
Yeah.
It's doable. And it's like an experiment to see what happens and how you can handle it and what other foods will you eat. That's what I always get. Well, if I don't drink milk, if I don't eat cheese, what will I eat?
Right.
There's plenty of stuff to eat, but you don't realize it because you're eating you're not changing it. You're not experimenting. So it's like a 5-day experiment to see what works.
Yeah.
And it's pretty cool because, when I start the detox, it runs from Monday through Friday. But on Thursday, so it'll be tomorrow night, we do a Facebook Live, much like this, in the private group. And we talk about all the obstacles that could be in your way of taking out these foods, and talk about the recipes, and we get the shopping lists. And so there's plenty of time to prepare before you start what you're going to do. And you feel supported to prepare, and it makes it easier. Because prepare was on my list, on that list that I got off of.
Yeah.
Prepare. Prepare is everything. So you don't want to, I know if I come home from a day in the office and I'm hungry and I have no idea, I had no preparation of what I was going to eat, I'm not going to choose the healthy foods. I'm going to choose whatever is there, whatever I can grab in a hurry, maybe stop somewhere on the way home and grab something, right?
I think that's huge. Making sure, so you want to get enough vegetables, prepping them.
Right.
And having them available so that that's what you're grabbing versus potato chips or crackers or whatever it is that you're going for.
Right.
Having them available is key to this, because vegetables take a little bit of effort, right? They're you need to wash them, you need to chop them, you need to prepare them. And so I think
so having a prep day on the weekend is fantastic. Just spend a few hours.
Or when somebody's offering to help you, so you have the baby and everybody wants to come feed the baby, right? Asking them to feed you, and it's not even necessarily cook me food, but here, can you prep all these vegetables for me? Yeah. I have some snacks.
Yeah, you chop the celery while I nurse the baby.
Exactly.
And if you have older kids, you can get your older kids involved too in washing the vegetables, and it could be, and then they're learning how to eat well too. Yeah. So I like having things around, just chopped vegetables. You can make some, make or even purchase hummus or guacamole, things like healthy fats to dip into with your vegetables. This way you feel you're getting satisfied with your snacks.
Yeah.
And, getting back to the eating, the weight.
Yeah.
So what happens is if we eat diet foods or low calorie foods or not enough food, we actually slow down our metabolism, and then we stop losing weight. So that could happen while you're breastfeeding. Your body's afraid to burn the calories because we're afraid that we're not going to get enough, this is hot, bodies aren't really afraid. You know what I'm saying?
It's protecting itself.
Exactly.
Protecting your milk.
Exactly.
It slows your metabolism. That makes sense.
And puts the metabolism into making the milk and not burning the fat of your fat or losing your calories. Right. So, so don't be afraid to eat. So if you're eating the right foods, you can eat as much of it as you want.
Yeah.
And you will be the weight you're supposed to be, unless there's a medical problem. So if you're gaining weight, make sure that everything is okay medically. So if you're still gaining weight after you have the baby, make sure you have your thyroid checked. Make sure you're not anemic, because those things can contribute to weight gain and other symptoms like hair loss that never stops, or just not feeling well at all. There's a difference between being tired and being hypothyroid, where you can't even get yourself off the couch.
And it is common for women to have an underactive thyroid or hypothyroidism after delivery. It is something to consider with your diet as well, because if you're eating a lot of soy products and your thyroid is not functioning well, soy can also make that worse.
Yes, absolutely.
And
dairy too. Some people are very sensitive. Yeah. And then the reason that we take out gluten is because many people have a difficulty digesting wheat these days because of the way the wheat is. It doesn't necessarily mean you have to keep it out forever, but you want to see how you feel without it, because there's an interesting correlation between gluten sensitivity and hypothyroid.
Right.
So if you're sluggish, let's see how you feel without the gluten, right? But definitely, any doubt, anytime with, increased weight gain or sudden weight loss when you think you shouldn't, always have.
I can tell you that, personally, I'm not celiac, but when I eat gluten, I don't feel good.
Right.
I don't feel good I never made the connection till recently, a couple of years ago, but it's I never realized how much eating bread or gluten products will actually make me feel not good.
Yeah, a lot of people feel very foggy after eating bread products.
Yeah, foggy, stomach pains,
right.
Just things like that. And you don't have to be diagnosed with celiac disease to be sensitive to gluten and have it impact pretty much all different aspects of your life.
Right. And what's interesting? Remember we were talking about the broccoli before and how everybody blames the broccoli?
Yeah.
So I always like to say, well, what are you eating with the broccoli? Or what are you eating with, if somebody says to me, I can't have coleslaw, I'll say, well, what are you eating with the coleslaw? Well, they're having a sandwich, but nobody's saying, well, maybe it's the bread.
Right.
Or maybe it's the cheese on the sandwich.
Right.
It's automatically the vegetable that gets blamed.
Right.
So think about, in association. So be your own experimenter. If you see the baby has a reaction to something, think about what it was. Take out all those things that you ate that day for a couple of days, and then introduce that thing that you think it is and see if there's a difference.
Right.
So that's basically what we're doing in the reset, just taking a big experiment together. And learning what works for your body, because everybody's individual. What works for your baby will not work for my baby, but there are certain general, things that
when people do the 5-day reset, they're resetting, but then they're learning what they can take away from that moving forward.
Exactly. And it's introducing new foods maybe, or making foods that they usually eat in a different way, and just taking a step back and having a different approach, and knowing that it's all okay and it's only going to be 5 days,
Yeah.
And it's not so, I don't know. I think it's exciting. I try to participate when I do these
I'm
5.
putting a link here up on the screen. I don't know if it worked. Let's see. Hold on a second. Let's see. Did it work? Show title. There it is. Okay. So you guys, if anybody, I see a ton of questions coming up here.
Oh, wow. Yeah.
Okay, like lots and lots of questions. Everybody's got a million questions. That means we're going to have to do more of this. And also, don't forget, Lisa's giving away 2 tickets to her 5-day lactation reset that is starting when? Tomorrow?
Tomorrow night's the quick golf call, and then it starts on Monday.
Okay, so if you want to win one of the 2 complimentary tickets, just being here today and commenting will get you an entry. We'll be pulling those before we end today. But you can also, through the link, you'll be able to get information if you don't win to be able to join, sign up and join for tomorrow. So make sure that you go to the link. But if you want to jump in, I see all your questions. And I promise you, if you jump into the live stream, we will answer your questions. So if you have a burning question, that is the link right there. If you want to click on it, just come out of the stream and it's right there in the post. And you can actually join us. I wonder if I don't know if I can type right here if there's a link, and it doesn't really let you link. But if you want to jump in to the stream, you're going to click that link and come join us. Okay, you do have to turn on your camera. If I have to turn on my camera, you need to turn on your camera, right? Okay.
There's no air conditioner in my house. 100 degrees out.
Oh my gosh. All right. So let me for a second. Can we pull up another question? Because I do want to answer some of their questions here. Let's see here. All right. So which question? All right. Let's see. Rebecca, what about DHA and omega?
Okay, that's
it got cut off. It says omega-3s.
Does it make a difference? So there are great studies about DHA and omega. I do recommend that my patients take a good fish oil and a good quality, good source fish oil, because there is studies that say that it, in pregnancy and in breastfeeding, that fish is really hard because, again, we want to avoid toxins, and there's mercury in fish. There's fish that are in water that's not so clean. So it's the kind of topic that's really hard to give advice on, because the information changes like very often about what are the safest fish to eat. Right. And so I like the safety of knowing that there's a good DHA omega supplement on board, so you don't have to worry about eating fish too much. But in general, I recommend, and my own self, salmon is about the only fish that I eat, and I eat it about once or twice a week. Just make sure it's a good source, and you get all the DHA and omega you need from 2 or 3 servings of fish a week. But if you're not doing that, or you're not sure, then a nice supplement.
Got it. We're getting a lot of questions, even though we talked about it. I think people are coming in and out, but I think they're really wanting to know, tell us just a little bit more about the reset.
Okay, great.
Because they're really interested, and they want to know, like, what exactly is it? Describe it for them.
Okay, so the reset is a 5-day guided elimination diet. So what you get in the reset is a meal plan. So 5 days of recipes. But this one, I'm going to give extra recipes because I think breastfeeding moms deserve to have extra recipes. So we're going to give some bonus recipes, bonus breakfast, because everybody's always wondering what to eat for breakfast. Yep. So I have a bonus breakfast meal plan. So 2 weeks of gluten-free, dairy-free breakfast, which is fun. Give you a hint, there's a lot of oatmeal in there. Overnight oats, chia pudding, things like that. And then we get a shopping list for the recipes. So in the beginning of the week, you can go to the store list and buy everything. If you buy what's on the list, you'll have everything you need to make the recipes. Then we have a handbook, which is basically what I go over in the call on Thursday night. The handbook is how to get through it, what to do, hints to make it easier, how to prep the vegetables, like things we were talking about before. You get handouts, extra handouts, like I have one all about avoiding plastic, like we were just talking about. What are chia seeds and what are they good for? Because chia is a great source of protein and fat, right? So that's in there. And oh, there's a guide to eating out. So what if in the middle of the reset, you're going to dinner with your family or you have an event you have to go to? So how to choose foods that won't mess up the week for you. There's hints about that. And then what we do every day, we get, when you sign up, you get the entire thing. You get all the information at once for you to go through. And then every day you get an email, and I make a Facebook post, and we all discuss things inside the private Facebook group. So there's plenty of hand holding. I pop on almost every day on Facebook Live just to ask, touch base with everybody, give little hints. I post pictures of my recipes. We talk about any challenges. So it's 5 days or more than that. It's about
what's really great that I'm sitting here, I'm listening to you, and I'm sure there are other programs where people talk about nutrition or whatever. What you're getting with Lisa's 5-day reset is you're getting a true expert in women's health. She's a nurse's wife, and she's also an IBCLC. So with those two combined, you're really getting not just women's health and nutrition and health, but you're also getting the breastfeeding component from a true expert in breastfeeding. And those two things combined really are the unique combination that Lisa offers. And so do I. We both offer that unique combination, which makes this very different than when you're just focusing just on women's health or you're just focusing on breastfeeding. These are pulling it all together. And that's what I love about what Lisa's offering here, is that it's very, very unique to your individual needs. And that's you as a woman, as a mom who's also breastfeeding.
Exactly. And that's what I'm trying to do, Shari, is, I can only see a few people a week in my office. I can't do this. So because I've seen such great results in my patients, I've decided to do this online so that we can have a larger community and have results. And some of the results we have are amazing. I had one woman lose 6 pounds 1 week. Skin clears up, stomach bloating goes away. Lots and lots. Of course, babies feeling better. Absolutely. But when I first thought about 5 days, I was a little skeptical because I wanted to balance it between, well, what's too long to commit to and what will have results. And I actually, when I first started doing these programs, I was surprised at the great results.
What you can actually do for your body in 5 days.
It's pretty cool.
The body is amazing. It wants to respond.
Exactly.
The body wants it is our natural state to want to be to want to have health. The body is constantly repairing itself. It's looking for ways to take care of itself, to be healthier, to live longer, to take care of our babies. It's when we do things inadvertently, sometimes we know we're doing it, sometimes we don't know we're doing it, that interfere with our body's ability to be in its most natural state, which is health.
And the other thing that we talk about too, and it's a little bit away from nutrition, but it's because this is what I do. We talk about sleep and how important sleep is, and how to get, I'm not doing sleep training, but how to idealize your sleep and how to sleep when you do get the chance to sleep. And we talk about what supplements are safe and all that. We won't go into that today because we'll be talking forever. But there's more than just the recipes. It's lifestyle changes. We do a little meditation in the group. I give suggestions for meditation and centering and getting, the things you can do to feel better for, as tools as you're in this challenging but wonderful time of life. And you want to feel your best, keep the stress level down as much as possible and enjoy the time. Because it goes so fast, right, Shari? Our babies.
Oh my God. My oldest just got a car. And I'm like, what? She's driving. Scary. And I swear, you guys, it felt like I blinked and this is where we are. I know you don't want to hear that, but honestly, it's like that. It really does go that fast. Does anybody want to jump in and ask a question? Is anybody going to join us and be brave today and jump in and ask a question? Because otherwise, I'm going to go here and start searching for some questions that we may be able to pop up and answer for you. Let's see. Here. Sophia said, what about caffeine? Could drop my production?
I've never heard caffeine dropping production. What I would say is if you were drinking coffee, getting hyperstimulated, drinking a lot of coffee, it might interfere with your production. But in general, no. Some babies are more sensitive to caffeine than others, so I'd be careful with it. Drink it early in the day. 1 or 2 cups is generally regarded as safe, but some people metabolize caffeine differently than others. And, I know I can drink coffee and go to sleep at night. My husband can't drink coffee after 10 a.m. in the morning and sleep that night. So you should know, Sophia, what's your normal, and assume that your baby's going to have a similar metabolism. So if you get really hyped up on coffee, then I wouldn't drink too much of it. But I don't know specifically that it affects supply.
Right. I've never heard it affect supply either.
Right.
I've never heard it affect supply. Let's see. Okay, there we go.
Oh, you know what? Can I just say one thing that I forgot to mention before? Water. So there's lots of myths about water.
Yeah.
I run a local Facebook group about breastfeeding, and every time somebody posts about milk supply, there's this one mom who says, drink 5 gallons of water a day. And every time she posts this, I have to go in and correct her, because nobody wants to drink 5 gallons of water a day. It'll be dangerous, right? And you're not going to make more milk. You're going to probably pass out. But you drink to thirst, usually about half your body weight in water. So say you weigh 140 pounds, that would be about 70 ounces of water a day. And that should be enough. There's no magical drink more water, make more milk.
I mean, one of the things that I've started to look at too, and give advice, is that, sometimes you can feel not thirsty. You're actually feeling hungry when you're actually thirsty. And so, the idea of drinking to thirst, something I've actually stopped offering it, because I noticed even in myself, but in my clients too, that it wasn't enough for them to just follow their thirst, because they weren't thirsty and then they weren't drinking enough. But one thing you can watch is your urine output. Yeah. So like when your urine is a nice light pale yellow, you've drank enough. If it's dark, and it could be that you normally drink the certain amount of ounces every single day, and it always works and you're good, but then you have this really hot day.
Right.
And you have a hot day, and the same amount of water that you drank yesterday is not going to be enough for today. Right. And you know right away as you start peeing, and that pee is, very, very dark. Now, also make sure that if you're taking vitamins, that it's not the vitamins causing that, because vitamins can very much cause your urine to be like bright yellow. So it's something to pay attention to and look at is your urine, because just like your baby, there's no right amount or quantity of milk that your baby needs. It depends on the time of day. It depends on their needs. Are they sick? Is it hot? Are they sweating a lot? All those things go into
and also what else you've eaten. So if you did have that McDonald's meal that day, you definitely need more water. Right. Or even, like something like Chinese food, lots of soy sauce or something. You'll definitely, Mexican food will give you more thirst, spicier foods. So, water is important. And I'm not a fan of drinking a lot of juices. So I like smoothies because they have some bulk to them. Homemade smoothies, that's, one thing. But juice is usually more sugar than anything else. And I think that if you really want to have fruit, the best way to get a piece of fruit. So if you feel like having orange juice, have an orange. Yeah. Because you'll get the fiber as well. And then all the benefits that we're talking about fiber.
I want to pop something up because you guys, I don't know if you saw it this week, but most of you had, because we've gotten some amazing entries. So I have a big month-long giveaway started this week. It's till the end of the month, and it's actually a photo giveaway, and it is so cute. I can't stop myself. I keep going back to look at the wall because we keep having everybody putting up their entries. So let me see if I can get this to be bigger here. Hold on a second. I'm trying to figure this out. Let's see. No, I can't get it. All right. How about we just do what?
I said you're making me dizzy.
I'm making everybody dizzy. Okay. So let's see. Can I scroll through this? Did you guys get your photos into the? How cute is this? Okay, this is our summer baby photo giveaway. If you have not entered into the giveaway, look at all these amazing photos here of all these babies and mamas and siblings and dads. But anyway, there's a big photo giveaway going on, and I want to make sure that you guys all entered. Did you guys enter? Okay. There's a link in the message I sent you to go ahead and do your entry. Okay. So
that's such a great idea. You get to see all these beautiful babies.
What?
I said it's such a great idea. You get to see all those beautiful babies.
Oh my God, it's so cute. And we're gonna have 2 winners. We're gonna have one winner that's random. Okay, and they win a nice big gift card so they can get whatever they want. But the other winner is based on how many likes your picture has. So you can go ahead and share that with your family and friends. You could like each other's and they'll like yours back. So we're going to have 2 winners at the end of the month. And this is just leading up into like all the amazing surprises that I have in store as we go into August for World Breastfeeding Week and Month. Okay. World Breastfeeding Week and National Breastfeeding Awareness Month. And so it's going to be a month long of great stuff. Okay. I'm going to give you you guys are going to get some of the previews here. All right. So first of all, we're going to have amazing giveaways like never before. So we have so many new partners. We have so many new things we're doing. So we're going to have amazing giveaways here on Facebook and also on my Instagram page. So if you're not following me over on Instagram, make sure that you do. It's My Baby Experts over on Instagram. Okay. And follow Lisa too. Tongue tie experts, right? And then just because I want you guys to know, you guys are the first, I am finally launching the membership site. Okay. Yay. So my membership is opening in August and we're going to do this a little different. What we're doing is it's going to be open just for a short period of time. We're in a testing mode with a membership site. So anybody who wants to join is going to get a very special price. Okay. And that's a lifetime price. So if you come in during August, when we have that window and that door open, you get to come in and you get to help me build out the rest. And you get to be on the backstage passes of watching me film all the rest of the content that will just populate out this entire site. You're going to have access to the whole video library and to a private group with me. Okay. Not the one we have now, but a really much smaller private group where I'll be able to spend more time with you all. Okay. So I'm going to be announcing when that opens. All right. It'll be in August and I am dying for you guys to join. I want to see every single one of you sign up. Promise you're going to, and there's more surprises, but I'm not even going to talk about it right now. I'm not going to talk about it right now because
it's so exciting, Shari.
It'll blow your minds what we're doing. It'll blow your mind. So
I wish I had something like that when my babies were young. You know, I think that women today take for granted the support that you offer. You know, I just want to say it's so wonderful because there was nothing like this when my kids were young. You know.
Yeah. No. You know what, Lisa? This came out of not having the support I needed when I had my babies, 17 years ago. When I had my baby, I was a midwife. I was delivering babies. I thought I knew what I was supposed to do, and I didn't have the support. We didn't have the internet, and even, with the education and the knowledge, what we learned in school wasn't sufficient to get us through all of that. And so, what I'm doing right now is just really taking what it was that was missing for me and how I struggled because I didn't have this, and making sure that everyone else gets this. And the fact that we have, I could have never guessed or anticipated back then that we would have something called the internet where I could reach out and I could be with them all over the world, and that they could join my membership and they will get all the content that I could create for them in a community and expert advice. And I never even could have considered that was going to happen, but it's beyond my wildest dreams. So I'm so happy for them, and I'm happy for me that I get to do this. This is a privilege, you guys. Like, I'm honored that I get to do this with you. Like, I'm going to cry.
Aww.
I'm honored that I get to do this with you. And I want you to know that I'm working very, very hard right now, every single day, to make sure that you're going to have everything that you need. I'm thinking of all of you as I'm getting up and writing every morning. The new Simply Breastfeeding program is going to be released next month with this membership site. I just can't wait to show you. So
And I'm so happy. I'm so happy to be a part of it in any way, Shari. Thank you so much.
I'm so happy to have you a part of it. I'm so happy too. So, all right, guys. Yeah, it's 2:00 here in the East Coast with me and Lisa, and we're going to finish up today. I have some more filming I need to go do. I'm getting ready for you guys, okay? Who's interested in the My Baby Experts new membership? Who's thinking about joining? And who's going to be ready for open cart when we open the doors for that short window? Okay, it's going to be a short window. Once that closes, it's going to go into test mode and nobody's going to be able to get in for a little while. Who's interested in joining me? I'd love to hear you. I'd love to hear if you are. Believe me, you are? Lisa's going to be in there. Lisa's going to be in there. If you want to join me, go ahead. And yes, awesome. I'm excited. And if you join, when you do, you will always stay at the same very, very low membership price. So I think you guys want to jump on this. Other people are going to come along a couple months later, and that opportunity is not going to be there, unfortunately. We're excited to have you. Make sure you got your comments in. Do we have winners? Did we have winners? Oh, I see the winners. Stephanie's just on top of it. That's Rebecca and Yamiliath. Okay, fantastic. They won your lactation.
Yay.
Reset. Whoa.
So I'm just going to need their
we will take care of all of it.
Take good care of the details.
We will message.
You'll be hearing from me, girls. I'm so excited.
I'm excited too. Okay, fantastic. Congrats, ladies. And we also need a winner for the nursing wedge. Did we have a winner? Did I miss it here? Maybe I missed it. I don't know. Oh, there it is. Let's see. Is that Rebecca? I can't tell. All right. Stephanie's taking care of it. I'm sure she got it all here. If not, we'll make sure we do. But congrats to the winners. And thank you, Stephanie. And thank you, Lisa, for joining us.
Thank you. Thank you.
And good luck with your... Oh, you know what? Somebody just popped in here. Let's see here. Who is this? You know what? I think it's going to shut off. I think we need to end, but next time. Okay.
Okay.
Right. So much. Thank you so much.
All right, guys.
Bye, everyone.
Thank you.
Bye.
Take care. Bye.